set up now to private classes, classes in other worlds, everything. So we're all good
Fantastic.
to go.
Good, man. Hey, we do what we got to do, right?
Sir. And you've been a big inspiration. I watch your videos of you stretching and doing stuff and you're cooking
Thank
and
you.
so it me energized to keep pushing forward.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you.
So since I have limited time, uh, how did you get involved with this new film, sir?
Yes, Christopher Ray, the director, who is who was in the military. He contacted my agent and then sent over the script, and I read it, and I I thought it was very important, a very important story to tell because we love action, but in the script, in the story, you're able to see this character played by Sean Patrick Flannery, Jason Hill, who is very capable as a military man. But what happens when you come back, having had some traumatic experiences, while you're in the military? How do you deal with that? Can you deal with that? What kind of support? And I think it was a really good way of hopefully, you know, um, letting people know what what our military people, some of them, have to go through, and hopefully we gain some empathy and support for them because you know um, I don't think there's anything close to putting your life on the line.
Yeah, and I think it's one thing that's really cool that's happening. It seems to be happening more often, even in like Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff like that. They're starting to show the effects that war and all this is having on people, and giving them kind of these humanized qualities that can
Yes,
make you. It's not just beating up and you go and have dinner.
that's right. That's
You
right. That's right.
know? So when they came to you about this film, was it always for this specific role, or was it kind of what would you like to do at this point? Because I know you played everything, so you could have played any role in this film and it would have killed it anyway.
Thank you. No, it was for this role because I think it's important. It's important, to show that Jackson. I feel like he had probably equivalent training to Jason Hill. Sean Patrick Flannery's character. The thing is, Jason Hill was able to retain some of his humanity. He was broken, and it would have been really easy just to buy into that and say there's nothing I can do about it. But no, he's fighting for his humanity. He's fighting to be a better person and to be able to live a life with his wife and daughter. Whereas Jackson um, has probably had very traumatic experiences as well, and he went the other way of just saying, you know, it is what it is. I'm all about me now because it doesn't matter what I do, you know. And so I think you see these two characters um, going parallel ways, and then Jason goes for the positive, and Jackson goes negative, and that's what I think is interesting, and I think that's one of the things that I hope people see is that it's probably easier to just go the way Jackson went, not to the extreme of doing other people harm, but doing yourself
Right.
harm. Whereas Jason Hill is fighting. He's fighting for his family. He's fighting for himself. You know.
So when you're up, I hate saying a villain because you are, but you're not. It's kind of all the characters. There's only two that are really I would classify as really the bad guys. The rest of them are kind of the soldiers for hire mentality
Right.
kind of thing.
The
So when you
mercenaries.
approach, because you're obviously you've played with villains in the past, like real villains, and this version of the character, while a bad guy, I guess if you will, as you said, it's kind of the opposite side of the coin. Do
Right.
you have,
Right.
you have some kind of approach that you take to try to get into that more what's the phrase I'm looking for? This guy's kind of like shut off. He's
Yes.
laser
Exactly.
focused. Where do you go as an actor to try to find something to kind of take you away from the good guy role and laser focus on that
Yeah.
simple?
It was finding out. Building an emotional for me, building an emotional backstory that would um, support in Jackson's mind why he's doing this, you know? So, taking clues from the script and then, actor training. Uh, if I need something else, just build it for my backstory, even if it's not shown or said, so that I could substantiate, why he's doing these actions. And,
Right.
you know, you look out in the world and you look what, you read about and you watch what war does to people. It's not too hard to imagine, how broken Jackson is or was. And he is obviously not strong enough like Jason Hill to piece it back together in a good way. He's just
Right.
gone, he's gone the opposite. And yeah, like you said, he's shut off. He shut off some of his humanity, and he's going for the bucks. You know.
And on the acting side of that, you spend majority of the film alone. You get in. Obviously, you get the fight. I was praying. I'm like, okay, if he's here, and I had just done stuff on was it Born a Champion that Sean Patrick Flannery did. I'm like, now I want to see these two fight. Before it would
Yes.
have been, I want to see you beat up somebody. Now I want to see these two guys come together.
Right.
But before that question, on the acting side, how hard is it as a performer? And I know you've done this so many times now. When you're the only person in the scene, but you're acting to people that aren't there.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's part of our job is to make it real. When you're talking on the walkie-talkie and doing these things, you have to get your heart and mind into the character's circumstance, his situation, and ask these questions of what the relationship is and build that, you know, and then deliver. So it's challenging, but it's also really fun as an actor. You get to use your imagination and create a character, um, that that you aren't in real life. Uh, but I like the fact that it's, like you said, it's the opposite, the other side of the coin, with Jason Hill, Sean Patrick on this side, and then my character Jackson over here. You know, I
And then
think
that kind of brings you when y'all clash. It's like bringing that coin together, and now we're going to face off, and you see like, and whether it was on purpose or I'm just reading more into it, the fighting itself seemed very polar opposite too. Like your character had a lot of the flash and trash movements and trying to establish where he, even though I know his ability as a martial artist, he was more of like brute force and just trying to survive.
right,
I don't
absolutely.
know if that was that designed that way on purpose, or is that just kind of how the choreography came about?
I think both. It was intentional in an organic way, if that makes sense. When I first met Sean Patrick on the set, I didn't know him beforehand. He came off as a little bit gruff, very grounded, with a good heart. That's what he seemed like to me. And I thought that's perfect for this character, whether that's actually Sean Patrick or the character. It's To me, it felt like a perfect representation of Jason. And my character, um, Jackson, he's very confident at what he does, and at least in his mind, he doesn't have any problems because he knows, in his mind, he knows about humans and humanity, and it's not good. So he's like, I don't care. This is what I do. Whereas seems like Jason Hill is struggling to maintain that heart, you know, hard shell but soft heart. And my character is just, hard. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And it kind of showed too. It comes off Carl, like because you're the one seems to be exerting most of the energy in the fight to do the techniques you're gonna do. It's just like when you're showing off sparring in class and you want to be the flip, flipping around and showing over that one person looks at you, throws the one punch and knocks you out. It had that vibe.
Yeah, good.
And then one of my favorite parts of that fight reminded me of my instructor to myself, me doing stiff like this back when I was a kid. And then I'm like, oh, that's really, no, seriously, that's a really good technique. was that kind of an improv moment, or was that something that was written when he says that to you after you felt kind of that barrage of kicking?
No, that's all Sean Patrick, man. He just, he was in the character and he threw that out. And when the camera was on him, I tried not to laugh because I thought it was really funny. So that's all Sean Patrick, and Christopher liked it. He kept it in.
Yeah, I immediately had flashbacks. I remember when I was a red belt and I was fighting my instructor, and I was throwing these jump kicks at his head and all this stuff, and I'm thinking, yeah. And he was like, "Oh, that's really good." And his only compliment to me was, "Man, I'm a really good instructor." And then he hit me. I got no props for it whatsoever.
Kudos to both of you.
So once you, and of course, I know I got to stick on the fighting because I love the fighting stuff. And that's kind of the meat of when you guys meet, and really the only thing you get to do. What kind of preparation, because I know it varies from different size productions and time you have to film. What kind of preparation did you have to go through or get to go through for this one?
Right. Well, I was only in Buffalo, New York for a short amount of time. We did a little bit of rehearsal for it the night before. So we had an idea, the bones, but we weren't sure how Christopher Ray, our director, wanted to cover it and how long he wanted the fight scene, how much, how much do we travel up and down the hallway, and what props we were going to have. So, like I said, we had a skeleton built for the idea of the choreography, and then filled it in on the day. And it was collaborative with our DOP Alex Yellen, who is our director of photography, with what Sean Patrick felt comfortable with, what I felt comfortable with, and with the essence and the vibe, rhythm of what Christopher Ray wanted. So all that, we get there, we showed him the bones, and then we filled in with the other bits and pieces of what he wanted. So very collaborative effort.
And I have to ask, and I always have to ask, and I don't remember if I've asked you this last couple times we talked, but do you have that signature kick or thing that you like doing? I know there may not be something that everybody just knows you for this one thing, but do you ever have that one move that you're like, I want to work this in almost every fight scene I do because I just love doing it?
Oh, goodness. I think, in my younger years, there were some acrobatics that I like doing, and I feel like those moves were appropriate for the sensibility of those projects. But I like to feel like I base my character's choreography off of my character, what he would do, the kind of training he has, the context of where they're fighting. It would have been, in my opinion, a little abrasive to all of a sudden, fighting Sean Patrick, and then I go, hey, wah,
Right.
wah, whoa, which would have been funny because I'm sure Sean Patrick would have said something really funny, but you know what I'm saying, would have been a bit inappropriate. So I really try to base the choreography off of the character and the sensibility of what the director wants.
Okay. I can't lie. I'm always ready for you to drop in. And I'm not always asking me, but just to let you know.
I guarantee Sean Patrick would have had a really good comeback for that.
Well, cool. Like always, man, I love everything. I watch everything you do. You're a continued inspiration to me as a martial artist in life. And somebody will probably mention in my funeral how much I talk about you to everyone else. And
Bobby, well, don't make that funeral for a long, long time, okay? You're a good man, and we need your positive energy. So don't plan on going soon.
I'm not planning on. I got a lot more people to annoy and to smack around. So
good.
But I really appreciate you, sir. I look forward to whatever you have coming up, and I hope this one is another big hit for you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, sir.
Thank you, Bobby. Much aloha to you and your family.
Yes, sir. You have a wonderful day.
You as well. Thank you.